Hey guys! Today's video is about budget-friendly hidden gems in Europe. More specifically, we will focus on 4 countries: Bulgaria, Bosnia, Slovakia, and Romania. I will tell you all about them, so make sure to stay until the end. In my opinion, these are some of the most underrated European countries that you should definitely visit if you have a tight budget. As always, all of the information is down below. Let's go. The first country is Bulgaria. This country has been on my bucket list for years now, because it is said to be one of the most budget-friendly European destinations. And I was right. The prices in this country are ridiculous. Like a cappuccino costs $2, accommodation is super cheap, and food can be found for just 1 or 2 euros. I spent around 2 months in Bulgaria between 2019 and 2020, and I traveled solo for the most part. I made an entire guide with my favorite places from the country. I explored Sofia, the capital, as well as Plovdiv, Veliko Tarnovo, Varna, and the Rila Monastery. Also did a road trip along the Black Sea coast. I rented a car with a friend and checked out all the beach towns. It was absolutely amazing. The cheapest way to get around Bulgaria is by using their local transportation. The buses are modern, comfortable, and run frequently. Another great option is BlaBlaCar, which is very popular in the country. You can find some nice deals if you are flexible with your schedule. Also, there is a train network connecting most of the major cities. Keep in mind that the trains are old and slow. It takes forever for them to arrive at the station, so you shouldn't really consider taking the train unless you're traveling on a very tight budget. There are also domestic flights available. Bulgaria has 5 international airports, and several low-cost airlines operate there. In my experience, flying domestically is expensive, and I don't recommend it unless there's a huge deal. When it comes to accommodation, I recommend staying in hostels and guest houses. They are scattered throughout the country and have great reviews online. My absolute favorite place to stay in Bulgaria is Backstage Sofia. They have private rooms and dorms. The beds are comfortable, the staff is amazing, and it's located in the city center. I highly recommend it. As for activities, they aren't that expensive. Most of the attractions are in the range of $5 to $15. For example, the entrance ticket to the Rila Monastery is $10. The price for the rope cart in Borovets is $24, and for the museum in Plovdiv, it's only $6. I honestly can't remember any paid activity that was over $20. So yeah, everything is pretty cheap. Now let's talk about food. The prices are similar to those in Portugal, Spain, and Italy when it comes to restaurants. A main dish costs anywhere between 10 and 15 euros. However, if you want to eat something quick and cheap, you can find street food and fast food options for less than $3. There are supermarkets everywhere selling basic groceries like bread, cheese, and yogurt for very low prices. Overall, Bulgaria is an amazing place to visit if you're on a tight budget. I absolutely loved my time in this country and hope to come back soon. The second country is Bosnia. Bosnia has become more and more popular lately, especially among digital nomads and remote workers. People tend to go to Sarajevo, which is also my favorite city in the country. But there are many other places worth visiting. For example, Mostar, Banja Luka, Jajce, Trebinje, and many more. Each town has its own charm and unique vibe. There are regular bus connections between all the cities. They depart several times per day. If you are traveling from Europe, the cheapest way to get to Bosnia is by taking a bus. A single ticket costs around $30 to $40 depending on where you start your journey. Flying to the country is also an option, but it's not really cheap, and there are only a few international airports. In terms of accommodation, there are plenty of hostels and guest houses in the major cities and small towns. If you are looking for a place to stay in Sarajevo, I recommend Sarajevo, Time Out, or Dream Castle. They are both located in the city center and have great reviews. The average price for a dorm bed is around $10. Private rooms are also available. As for activities, there are many free things to do in Bosnia like hiking. exploring the mountains and rivers, and checking out the numerous mosques, churches, and other historical buildings. However, if you are looking for something more specific, there are organized tours available. For example, the Sarajevo Tunnel Tour, Mostar Day Trip, and Kravets Waterfalls Tour. I recommend joining a guided tour to learn more about the history of the country. There are also museums in Bosnia which cost around $8 to $10 per person. The National Museum in Sarajevo is a must-see if you are interested in history and art. The Museum of Crime in Sarajevo is another option. However, it's a bit pricey at $15, but in my opinion, it's worth the money. Lastly, there is the War Children's Museum. The entrance fee is only $5, and it's an extremely moving exhibition that documents the war in Bosnia through the eyes of children. In terms of food, Bosnia is very affordable. You can get a Bosnian kebab called manaish for just $2. Local specialties like burek and cevapi can be found for $4. If you'd like to eat in a restaurant, the prices are similar to those in Hungary and Poland. A meal costs anywhere between $7 and $15. Overall, Bosnia is a hidden gem in Europe that deserves more attention. It has stunning nature, rich history and culture, and friendly locals. If you are looking for an off-the-beaten-path destination, I highly recommend checking it out. The third country is Slovakia. While it may not be as well known as its neighbors like Czechia and Austria, Slovakia has a lot to offer visitors. The country is home to the Tatra Mountains, which are a great destination for hikers and nature lovers. Slovakia also has a rich history and culture, which is evident in its many castles and cathedrals. Some of the most popular tourist attractions in Slovakia include Bratislava Castle, the Blue Church in Bratislava, the Tatra National Park, and the Spiš Castle. However, my personal favorites are the High Tatras, Banská Štiavnica, and Košice. The easiest and cheapest way to get around Slovakia is by bus. There are frequent departures from all major cities and towns. A single ticket usually costs between $5 and $15, depending on the distance. Slovakia also has an extensive train network, but it's not as convenient as the bus system. Trains are slower and less frequent, so I wouldn't recommend them unless you have a lot of time on your hands. There are plenty of hostels and guest houses in Slovakia, especially in Bratislava and Košice. Prices vary depending on the location and amenities, but you can expect to pay around $15 to $20 for a dorm bed. If you're looking for something more private, a double room costs around $30 to $40 per night. In terms of activities, there are many free things to do in Slovakia, such as hiking, biking, and fishing. There are also a number of museums and galleries that are free to visit, such as the Slovak National Gallery and the Museum of Modern Art in Bratislava. Of course, there are paid activities as well, such as visiting the High Tatras National Park, which costs around $6. When it comes to food, Slovakia is very affordable. A meal at a restaurant can cost anywhere from $7 to $15. However, you can find street food and fast food options for less than $3. There are also supermarkets everywhere selling basic groceries at reasonable prices. Overall, Slovakia is a hidden gem in Europe that is definitely worth exploring. It has stunning nature, a rich history and culture, and affordable prices. If you're looking for a destination that is off the beaten path, I highly recommend checking it out. The fourth and final country is Romania. This country is often overlooked by travelers, but it has a lot to offer, from its stunning mountain ranges to its medieval cities. Romania is a country full of surprises. The best way to get around Romania is by car. That is what my friends and I did during our trip. We drove from the capital Bucharest to the Caransebs, Timișoara, Cluj, and back. Renting a car is relatively cheap in this country, especially if you book in advance. It usually costs around $20 to $30 per day. If you want to save even more money, you can rent a car from a local agency. Another option is to take the train or bus. The train network in Romania is extensive, but the trains are often delayed or canceled without warning. Buses are a more reliable form of transportation, but they can be crowded and uncomfortable. In terms of accommodation, Romania has something for everyone. There are plenty of hostels and guest houses in the major cities, as well as apartments and rooms for rent. If you're looking for something a little more luxurious, there are also plenty of hotels to choose from. Romania has a lot of free activities to offer, such as hiking in the Carpathian Mountains or visiting the medieval city of Sighișoara. There are also a number of parks and gardens that are free to explore, such as the Herăstrău Park in Bucharest and the Cismigiu Gardens in Constanța. If you want to learn more about Romanian history and culture, there are also a number of museums and galleries that you can visit. The National Museum of Romanian History and the National Art Museum in Bucharest are two of the most popular options. Of course, there are paid activities available as well, such as visiting the Pilaș Castle, which costs around $10. But overall, Romania is a very affordable destination. You can easily get by on $30 to $40 per day. In conclusion, these are just a few of the many hidden gems in Europe. If you're looking for an affordable and unforgettable vacation, I highly recommend checking out these countries. With their stunning nature, rich history and culture, friendly locals, and delicious food, you're sure to have an amazing time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.